Tonight on The Record, GOP candidates clashing at the Fox Business debate over some sizzling hot topics. The big debate showing some big differences in the candidates' platforms. One of those much disputed topics, immigration.
If people think that we are going to ship 11 million people who are law-abiding, who are in this country, and somehow pick them up at their house and ship them out of Mexico to Mexico, think about the families. Think about the children. So, the answer really is, if they've been law-abiding, they pay a penalty, they get to stay, we protect the wall, anybody else comes over, they go back. But for the 11 million people, come on, folks, we all know you can't pick them up and ship them back across the border. It's a silly argument. It's not an adult argument. It makes no sense.
All I can say is you're lucky in Ohio that you struck oil. That's for one thing. Let me just tell you that Dwight Eisenhower, good president, great president, people liked him. I like Ike, right? The expression, I like Ike. Moved 1.5 million illegal immigrants out of this country. Moved them just beyond the border, they came back. Moved them again beyond the border, they came back. Didn't like it. Moved them way south, they never came back. Dwight Eisenhower. You don't get nicer, you don't get friendlier. They moved 1.5 million people out. We have no choice. We have no choice.
So he just mentioned my name.
Governor Bush.
Gerald, it was
just
what happened to my governor? You're not going to have my back. I'm going to have my back. Let me say a couple things here. First of all,
you should let Jeb speak.
We have grown.
No, it's unfair.
If Mr. Trump understood that the real jobs come in the downstream, not in the upstream, but in the downstream, and that's where we're going to get our jobs. But Ohio is diversified, and false little things, sir, they really don't work when it comes to the truth. So the fact is, all I'm suggesting, we can't ship 11 million people out of this country. Children would be terrified, and it will not work.
Thank you. Mr. Trump, you've had a good. Let me just.
Built an unbelievable company worth billions and billions of dollars. I don't have to hear from this man. Believe me. I don't have to hear from him.
Mr. Trump, you yourself said let Governor Bush speak. Governor Bush.
Thank you, Donald, for allowing me to speak at the debate. That's really nice of you. Really appreciate that. What a generous man you are. 12 million illegal immigrants to send them back. 500,000 a month is just not possible. And it's not embracing American values. And it would tear communities apart. And it would send a signal that we're not the kind of country that I know America is.
Former Speaker of the House and author of the new book, Duplicity, Newt Gingrich, goes on the record. Nice to see you, Mr. Speaker.
Great to be back with you.
All right, the most passionate people in the Republican Party, I assume, the base, don't like illegal immigration. Is that correct? Is that fair?
I think it's fair to say.
All right. Donald Trump says, okay, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to throw 12 million out. I'm going to build a wall. So that is probably pretty attractive to them, right?
And I think that's a big part of his support, of his current support.
Is that possible?
Well, I think building the wall is clearly possible.
What about the 12 million?
I think that's not practical at all at a very human level. Imagine the number of churches that will become sanctuaries. Imagine the number of families in which half of them are American citizens born in the U.S. And now you're going to go in and you're going to become the party that destroys families.
Well, so then how does a Republican like Governor Kasich or Governor Bush possibly get the base if they've got people like Donald Trump going out there and saying they're going to do this, and that he's going to do that?
I thought this was a very healthy, genuine debate. I mean, we have the great genius of America is that over time, the American people, as Bill Buckley once said, are smarter than the Harvard faculty. And over time, we're going to talk this through. Virtually everybody agrees we should build a wall on the Republican side. Virtually everybody agrees that we should find a way to control who comes in. And by the way, 40% of people who come in are here legally and extend and stay beyond their visas.
And then become illegal.
And I think we have to find a way to deal with people who are here illegally, but in fact have been working hard, obeying the law, and are part of the community.
So how does someone like a Governor Kasich or Governor Bush get the base to understand that
they were doing it?
You think they're doing that?
I think
that was persuasive. Look, meanwhile, Donald Trump promises we're going to get rid of them. We're going to throw them out.
Right, and I think you have to look him in the eye and say, let's go down and visit the school in your neighborhood or the church in your neighborhood or the store in your neighborhood, Donald, where you're going to walk in and I'm going to point out the people you're going to uproot. Now, are you really going to do that? And the truth is you're not. And grandmother, as I said in 2012, ain't going to self-deport. So you're going to have immigration police who go out and rip apart families and leave the American-born half here and send the other half. And this is the party that believes in the family. I think once you get into that level of conversation, what people want to know is you're going to stop them coming in, you're going to control the border, you're going to find a way to make everybody legally accountable, and over a very long period of time, people might get citizenship, but they're not getting it next year. They're not going to get it in the near future, and to get it, they have to learn English, and they have to learn American history, at which point, frankly, they would be prepared to be Americans.
Right. Senator Marco Rubio was part of the Gang of Eight, an effort to get a comprehensive immigration bill through the Senate. That didn't happen. To what extent does that make it more of a problematic issue for him as he now goes out and campaigns?
Well, I mean, Marco Rubio is a unique personality, and all I would say is no comprehensive bill is ever going to pass because it's too big, it's too complicated, and you bring together too many opponents. And Rubio himself has said that he misjudged where we were. The country wants to know, first, that you're going to control the border. Second, that you're going to find ways to ensure the law. But you look at the impact of illegal immigration in Los Angeles today, where the number of people who are potentially available for Medicaid is extraordinary because we have tolerated this enormous wave of people who've come into the U.S. who don't have language skills, don't have very good job skills, want to work very hard, but aren't prepared for the modern economy. And this is a real national problem.
And viewers, I want to know what you think. Which GOP candidate performed best at last night's primetime Fox Business Network debate? Tweet the candidate's name using hashtag Greta. We're going to show you your live Twitter votes throughout the show. Mr. Speaker, the issue of immigration, is that going to be paramount in this race, do you think, in 2016 when we get down to sort of the voting next November? Or do you think the economy is going to be...
You mean between the...
Republican and the Democrat? Because the Democrats have a very different view of this.
I think controlling the border is going to be a real issue when you have the former governor of Maryland running around saying Hillary's wrong to even want to control the border. I mean, if you want an open border Democrat, I can't imagine what their convention will be like.
Why do Democrats want that?
Because they're nuts. I mean, I can't give you...
And there you have it.
I mean, I can't give... In the age of ISIS, in the age when the Europeans just captured an al-Qaeda leader who had come in as a Syrian refugee, I mean, I can't explain why some Democrats are so out of touch with reality that they advocate things that are, by any reasonable standard, suicidal.
Mr. Speaker, nice to see you. Thank you, sir.